Hi, and welcome back to the podcast. I am More Than Enough, hosted by me, Elvis Kaberuka. Thank you very much for making time to be here with me again. And if it's your first time, you are most welcome. So in this special episode, I have a wonderful guest, my brother, my friend, Didier Ganza. And on these two episodes, we're going to review the 75 Hard Challenge, which is a challenge that we both did sometime in 2024. Surprisingly, when I reached out to him to do the episode, he was already doing it, and this time even with his wife. So, I mean, this dude is so resilient, and there's no better person one could ask what his experience has been, because he's done it over and over again, failed and done it again, failed and done it again. It is so impressive. There's no better person to talk to, because he's probably learned way more than I have, because I did that one shot and that was it. I got what I needed from it. So it's really nice to have him. And the bigger reason to that, he's somebody I've admired from afar. He has really inspired me in so many ways, starting when I was trying to find myself back in 2020 when I decided to become sober. And I needed to start incorporating healthy habits. And I started following him on the Apple Watch, and I started seeing how consistent he was with his workouts. He kept showing up. And beyond that, the conversations we would have and how inspiring it always was, the knowledge he had acquired or the progress he had made in life, and how he was continuously growing, evolving, and just bettering himself in every aspect was something so inspirational to me. I've picked up so much from him besides our great conversations and time spent, but also the books he's read, podcasts he's suggested. So it's always a blessing to have somebody who can inspire you from afar. And even this challenge, I got to it because of him. I literally one day just jumped on Instagram and, hey, there's something called 75 Challenge. I'm like, what is this? And I keep seeing this dude doing it over and over again. And I looked it up and I just knew for me, it was like a wake up call. You need to do this, because I really needed to challenge myself in ways I'd never done. And in the next two episodes that I had with him, I will go over that, and we'll go to what the experience was like for us, not only physically, but I think more importantly, internally, how it affected us spiritually and psychologically, and the life lessons we gathered from there to help us get better. So it was such an awesome conversation. So grateful to have chatted with this young man. The conversation went on for almost 3 hours, and that's why I decided to just break it up in two chunks, just to make it a little more digestible. But I'm super thankful for him, and I'm hoping you can pick up something, because it's not just a physical challenge, and there's so much that we picked up from this. So I'm really hoping it can impact someone, truly. So once again, I just want to thank you for taking time. Please, take a listen, comment, share. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. And I hope this finds you well, and I hope you are having a fantastic day. Thank you, and have a blessed day. So, Ganza, thank you very much for being here, sir, man. Much appreciated.
Oh, thank you, Elvis, for having me over. It's really a great pleasure to be able to sit here with you. Happy belated or happy birthday, man. I'm glad that we're recording this on the day that the universe sent you out here to be the change that the world wants to see. So we're celebrating you. And yes, we go way back. I think we go past 20 years of a relationship. You played a role as my brother in my life. And seeing you taking these strides and starting a podcast has been truly inspirational. I'm definitely glad I'm here and looking forward to creating some kind of value today.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. So just to give you all a quick highlight to what this 75 challenge was about, but we're not just going to focus on what the challenge was about, but how it transformed us, because talking to you and in my personal experience, this was one of the most profound things I've ever done. and I completely feel changed and transformed. So yeah, it was something amazing. So the intent or the purpose for the 75 challenge is to develop mental strength over a course of 75 days straight. And that's the first phase, and then there's more phases which add additional tasks or reduce the tasks based on the phase. But in a nutshell, just the basic phase is you do two 45-minute workouts, one indoor, one outdoors. You follow a diet, no alcohol or cheat meals. You drink a gallon of water. You read 10 pages of nonfiction audiobooks. That was a bit hard. I hadn't touched the book in years, so that was really awesome. Then you take a progress pick. And the next phase, which I believe is phase 1 or phase 0, you do the same thing, but you add a few things. You add a cold shower, 5-minute cold shower. You add 8 critical power list tasks. So among the 5 that you do, you add these 3, including 10 minutes of visualization. So it's something you have to do consistently. If you slack off one day, you need to restart. So it's something that requires a lot of mental strength and discipline. And if you don't have it, trust me, you're going to learn something in the process. So it was something, man. Shout out to you for getting me into this, but we'll get to it. But before I get into my part, I wanted to start with you, man. So what inspired you to start this 75 or hard challenge?
Yes, yes, it's probably the hardest thing I ever took on in my life. But if I had to reflect on really what had me started, it really came at a time when I was going through one of the deepest moments of my life. So I lost my father, and mainly that was the time that I started really exploring what the 75 Hard Challenge would be about. So I was just going through a period of understanding this new transition in my life, where the man who was raising me, the man that gave me everything, was no longer with us. So as I was wrestling with those emotions, the 75 Hard became a crutch to help me navigate that moment. That moment was extremely difficult for me. So I already had these tools. I was the kind of person that was waking up, working out. I was doing all these great things to just stay in shape, stay mentally stable. But then I was doing it every now and then. So I would do it on Monday, probably skip a Tuesday, Thursday, and I would just try to make excuses as to why I wouldn't want to do it today. So the 75 came at a time where I really truly needed it. I needed some kind of structure in my life. I needed to be able to show up constantly for myself. And I felt like it was fitting the new direction I was attempting to go, which is, one, being the best version of myself, taking care of my physical, and then ultimately what I was hoping for is that would enable me to reach acceptance sooner when it came to me dealing with my grief, right? So I was trying to get there fast, which which did not work. But yes, that was the motivation that really had me getting into the 75 Hard Challenge. I was going through a very troubling time, and then this challenge, of course, I was seeing it everywhere. Whether it was YouTube, there was always people talking about the 75 Hard, and I felt like it would fit at the time that I really started exploring it. So that's how I got into it. That's how I started the 75.
Wow, that is so powerful, man. Honestly, I know we talked about it, but I did not even know that that's what inspired you to start this journey. That was something, man. Yeah, I got to know your dad a little bit. I know as a kid, yes, I would see him. He always seemed like a cool dude, but got to have some conversations with him. He seemed like just a very, very thoughtful man, and definitely left an impact on me. So it was a pleasure to get to know him. And for sure. Yeah, my condolences. That definitely wasn't easy, man.
Thank you. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, he also represented the 75 to some extent. So my
Wow.
father, uh, he came from nothing. I mean, he came from nothing. He came from a small village in Changu called Gashirabgova, which is like up there. Like there was no roads where he was born. So he, out of those circumstances, he needed to walk to school. So they couldn't go to school in Rwanda due to the division, the basically the tribal issues that were occurring at the time. So my uncle, who was his big brother, set up a school in Congo where he would be able to go to study. So he would
Oh, wow.
go early in the morning. So he would leave home like at around 3 and walk until he reached that school, right? So that was like a good 2-hour walk so that he crosses Bukavu, and those were just shortcuts in order for him to go to school. So fast forward, life, of course, unfolds for him, and eventually starts a business, starts a family, and all that good thing. But then his principles were that he was going to show up every day. He was the type of person to show up every day. So the 75 made sense because everything that the 75 requires you to do were things. Well, he wasn't the type of person to go work out. It's not what he did. He was mostly a businessman. So what got him out of bed was the pursuit of success. And he was the first one up, the last person to go to sleep. So those things, when the 75 came, it kind of like was a way to feel like I'm connected to him. All these things that he always used to tell me. So we wake up in the morning. So if I woke up late at night or late in the evening because I was probably partying the previous day, he would tell me something like, yeah, if it's past 12 p.m., business is closed. You're unable to actually get anything done, right? So it's that consistency. It's that that disciplined person. He was a person that never really, he used to drink every now and then, but then most of the times he wasn't drinking. So he would drink in functions, partying, or having a good time with friends at home. But then he wasn't the type of person to go get a beer to drink at home. It wasn't really him. So he pretty much represented a 75. So me going through that process kind of like, I felt some kind of connection to him. I felt like at least I was making him proud. I was doing something that he always wanted me to do. Take care of yourself. Get up early. Be intentional about everything that you do. So him, he was more about business about it. Me, it became more about all that and also life and also all these things that I want to do because he created a platform. Where I'm at right here is because of him. If it wasn't for him, I don't think I would be taking these strides in life. So I took some of those lessons, and I felt like the 75 complemented that period of time where I was trying to get to that point of accepting what had just happened.
Wow, that is powerful, man. Thanks for sharing and going into details about your father's life. It's interesting, yeah. Yeah, my father kind of was in that similar vein. We're going to school, going to school for hours, not having shoes, and just didn't make sense. At first, I thought it was BSing, but it's interesting to hear somebody else, another perspective of your dad. So that's really, really dope, man. Yeah. So for me, how I started 75, honestly, was I would say the initial signpost that got me to it was you. So the moment I was in, so I'd recently moved from Austin to Phoenix. It was kind of somewhat of an unexpected move, and I hadn't also fully processed it because I was just didn't make sense in a weird way, and required me to drive 1,000 miles by myself and get to this new place. But the space I was in a space of I didn't feel like my feet were planted. I felt a bit lost. I felt I'd stopped drinking soda. I'd been, what, that was in 2020, 2024. It's about 4 years being sober, but there's a sort of an emptiness that you go through in the beginning as you're trying to build your life, now trying to add things to feel that weird routine that you had. But I just didn't feel firm in who I wanted to be or a sense of purpose. And I remember this one day I looked and I see you keep posting something about 75. I'm like, what is this thing? So I Googled it. Actually, I asked you about it. And then you're like, yo, let's jump on it, because we always work out. I always see your notifications. And I was like, you know what? Let me look into it. I jumped on, I see, okay, you don't have to drink. I'm like, that's easy. I can do that. 45-minute workouts. I'm like, that's nothing. So I figured, okay, I can do it. But it wasn't that it was easy, but I knew I needed a challenge to shake me up, to shake that discomfort, that laziness, that inconsistency, that lack of discipline, that lack of accountability. And I say to myself, I'm going to do this thing and I'm going to find out who I am. I'm going to find out who I am. I don't know who I am, but I kind of felt weird because back in school, I always felt this guilt because, I would find at times I would cheat, and I thought I was the only one who cheated, but, you find everybody, not everybody, but the everybody's I know, Khaled cheated. Oh, goodness. Okay, I'm not the only one. So I'll cheat here and there. Hey, man, so I had to survive in a sense. So I wanted to do this thing and not cheat any step and be honest with myself. And man, just it didn't matter. I was gonna finish it. I was gonna go through it. But it was something that I knew that, man, I had to do this crazy thing for 75 days straight. And then the knowing I had was, I'm gonna know who I am. I'm gonna find out who I am. That was my initial thought, and I just started. So it wasn't any planning. It wasn't. I just dove into it. So it was. Man, I know. I'm not sure if I've told you before, but yeah, shout out to you, man. Thank you for getting me into this.
No, I mean, when you came in the middle of it, it kind of gave me the motivation to be able to continue, because once you take on these big, outrageous challenges, the closest people to you are not really going to pick it up. They don't understand why you're making such a decision. They think you're exaggerating. Once you explain what the whole process is. So when you came in the middle of it and you're like, I'm taking it on, it kind of gave me the battery to be able to push through. So I'm telling you, thank you as well, because you joined me on this battle. And then it delivered pretty much everything for me. What was the point I want to ask you, what was the point during the challenge? Did you realize this thing sucks?
That's a good question. That this thing sucks. Okay. I was trying to Google my mind, but I think the answer came up quick.
Yeah.
It wasn't that it sucked, but I got to a place that really sucked. I think it was on day 50.
Yeah.
And my knees gave up, I'd always been, from when I was a kid, my right knee would always swell. I always had issues with it. But I woke up and I could not walk. And walking, I felt like I was walking on nails. I felt like, man, I can't. But then I had signed a contract. I was like, yo, I'm going to do this. I don't care. And folks around me, my mom, the lady I was dating was like, yo, you got to stop. Don't do it. You're hurting yourself. But I was that obsessed with knowing that I'm going to see this thing through the end. But what really was hard is you wake up, you can't walk. So I'm walking, touching different things. And then I had to get some weird braces that kind of look like robotic, which were weird. Like literally they were working for me. Somebody sane would have said, all right, I'm done. I'm going to take a break. But no, I couldn't because I'm like, dude, I'm on day 50. I'm not going to do 75 more days. So I just figured out ways to work out my upper body. I figured out I could still work out my upper body. And then for the outside workout, I'll just go on my balcony, shadow box, do something, move my body, just do anything. So it was the I would say it was literally the most painful part. Like the last 25 days, yeah, they were really 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 brutal. But yeah, but that was probably my favorite part because I got to know me. I was like, yo, and you can endure this. So this whole time you've been playing games with yourself, you know. So, so it was really really fantastic, man. But how about you? What was yours, man? When did you realize this thing sucks?
I mean, I would say that it really hit me because my life did not stop, right? So I still have to show up. So the good thing is that you got into it, you had already overcome one of the biggest thing, which is alcohol intake, right? You had once you got into it and you had already overcome that, because that's one of the biggest things, because I'm a social drinker. So I only drink socially. I don't go buy something like right now. I'm going through another 75, mainly to just offset everything that I've been doing in the past couple of weeks. So, but during the first challenge was again going back out there and having to explain what you're doing, right? Having to explain what you're doing to people who have invited you over for a party, and or people who just want to see you, and now you're trying to explain to them that maybe you're not going to be taking any shots that night, or
Mm.
not you're not attempting um you're not attempting to do any alcohol for the remainder of the night. So the questions that start to come, and then you start feeling nervous within those kind of settings, because now you're this alcohol that used to make you a social butterfly and you're able to connect with everyone and you're extremely bold. You can talk about anything, any subject. The absence of it, now you feel like, wow, okay, I have to pull from another place to be able to connect with people. That was the hardest part, you know? And it was so hard that it was strictly those kind of settings that had me fail it more than 3 times.
Really?
Yes. So it was,
Wow.
that for me was the hardest, because the workouts, I can do that. I hydrate properly. I'm perfectly okay with that. My diet is great. Uh, so all these other things were not new to me. But then it was the elimination of alcohol in a setting that really posed the biggest challenge for me, to be honest. It was the biggest one, because now I've taken on this thing. I want to do it for the next 75 days. And as soon as I show up in a function, and it could be anyone, it could be anything. I mean, it could be a child's birthday, it could be anything. I just didn't have in those 19 days, I just didn't have how would I say it? I didn't have the willpower to be able to
Mm.
resist making a decision that I'm not going to drink. Because as soon as I would get in those kind of settings, in that social setting, I would get nervous. My heart rate would be through the roof. And as I'm looking for where to escape, little conversations here, little conversations there, you realize you built an entire personality around this person that you get to become just for a fraction of the time, right? Soon as you take that shot or you drink that alcohol, you're this other character. And people love that character. That character is down to do anything. That character is open. That character is vulnerable. He can do anything, right? But
Yeah.
then once they're absent,
Mm.
you have to rely on this other person that you've probably silenced for the longest time. So that was my biggest thing. Getting into crowds, even going to hang out with siblings who are not going through that kind of challenge. You know, they're not on that tip. And
Yeah,
they tell you, hey, I think you're doing too much. And,
of course.
and that kind of advice, my mother as well, same thing. Don't you think you're doing too much to your body? Don't you think something is going to happen to you? But of course, I do understand that it was coming from a good place. It's a place of caring. But then it was, those are the things for me that made it extremely difficult. And with,
Wow.
I think I was able to overcome it after my second failure. After my second failure is when I realized, okay, maybe I understand where things fall off. Got deeper into meditation as well, because the phase 3, I believe, gets you more into visualization and stuff like that.
Hmm.
These were
Yeah.
things I was already doing, but then adding them into my regimen kind of like, it kind of now gave me perspective on the voice that was talking when I was in a setting and I'm not drinking, right? So
Mm.
now I got to
Power.
understand, okay, um, you clearly have the wrong dialogue within. When you get into those settings, the dialogue that you're having within is reflecting outside. And then at the end, you're getting anxious over your thought processes, right? And once I overcame that, then it was easy for me to say, you know what, tonight I'm not drinking. And you know what, I can take off for the next 3 months. But then, yeah, I think that was the biggest challenge is being able
Wow.
to readjust into my community, my people,
Yeah.
that was the biggest one.
Wow. So I have a question for you because but with I forgot you started the challenge a couple of times,
Yeah.
and I remember I was like, okay, I saw you one time in one of your stories, and you're taking shots. I'm like, what's going on? Then you're like, yeah, I'm starting again. I'm like, okay, there's no way he's starting again.
Yeah.
So what in the world motivated you to do this over and over again? Because you must have done double the 75, you know?
Okay, so 7, I did probably the 1,000-day challenge. It feels like,
So how, man? How? Like, what did you tell me? Like, I'm really curious. How do you find the motivation to start again? Because bro, I'd have quit. That's why I didn't quit, because I knew if I take a break, I was gonna quit. I know me.
I mean, again, like it's once I attracted, once I attached the challenge to me being able to meet acceptance
Mm,
for the situation I had just gone through with me losing my father.
yeah.
It was a deeper contract with myself. It wasn't
Mm,
one that, it was one that no longer gave me space to play around, right? And the other thing is that I started to also see the results of me constantly showing up, what it was doing, not only to my personal life, so my family, me being a father and all, being a husband. Those things were already improving. The dynamics of the relationship, the conversations I'm having with my significant
mm,
other, the conversations I'm having with my children, how I feel about myself, about whether I'm able to support my family or not. And then so I felt my first failure, I was in about 40 something days. So I'd really been in for quite a while.
yeah, it's about more than halfway.
Yes, I was already
Yeah.
halfway. And I feel like I started to see the results of consistency.
Mm,
I started to see what it, when you remove yourself from having excuses or ways to escape your responsibilities, you start now to address the things that you call issues in your life, your finance,
mm.
your
Wow.
relationships, your just overall how you feel about yourself. So I had already kind of seen what the results were, and I was just curious as to what 75 days would deliver to me, right? So there was
Yeah.
that aspect of, if I get to the finish line, who am I going to be at that point? Because I can see what I am,
Mm, yeah.
performance at work, came from a 40% input output to upwards of 120, to a point
Wow.
The company is really recognizing on what, because what I do is sales. So I'm
Yeah.
interacting with people, which requires me to be sharp, to be, I have to be able to persuade you to buy whatever product I'm selling to you. And the transitions that have happened in the company is where we got to a point where AI is actually doing our grading, right?
Yeah.
So it has no biasness. It's not looking at who am I grading or how is
Mm.
performance. It's strictly looking
Yeah.
at your tone of voice, your
Mhm.
ability to convert prospects into buyers, right? And once I started measuring all that, once I started getting my feedback from it, I was the top performer in my entire department.
Wow.
There's no way anything else happened other than me doing the 75-hour challenge. Nothing else happened. There wasn't anything miraculous that happened outside of me consistently showing up, and that's
Yeah.
translated into my career, translated into my relationships, translated
Yeah.
into everything, right? Um, Not that I lacked those things, I was managing them properly before the 75, but then the
Mhm.
75 gave me that last, it's the icing on the cake on, okay, you know all these things, you have all these tools. Now let me teach you how to put them to a good use, right? So
Yeah.
what the 75 did, it kind of gave me structure, and then it's just poured into everything in my life. So at the time when I failed and I was taking that shot, I was like, yeah, I'm getting back to it again. I have to be able to complete it completely from zero again to 75 to see what can transpire. Who can I become? You know, and yeah. So that's the motivation, to be honest. I had already
Wow.
seen what it was delivering
Yeah.
to me. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. No, that's powerful, man. So I was just thinking about that same question to myself. What kept me motivated? I think that kept me motivated was feeling like I'd been just cheating life, taking shortcuts and saying to myself, I'm not going to give up on me, man. I'm not. This song I know of one of my favorite artists, Jason Mraz, which it says, "I won't give up on us." It kept replaying in my mind, and basically I'm talking. It's as though there's the spirit me, and then there's the physical me talking to us. I'm like, no, I'm not going to give up on us. No matter what, I'm not going to give up on us. Because if I fail at this, or if I give up at this, then that's going to show up in multitude of places. So I just had no quit in me. As crazy as it was, as even now my knee is still not right, but it was all worth it. I learned through the process how to strengthen my knees. So this, even the pains were blessings. Even nothing about it to me was a downside. But yeah, just having that clear purpose of, for the first time, I am going to take care of us. No matter what happens, I'm going to stick to this. If I sleep for 2 hours, which for whatever reason, my sleep was crap, to the point I remember one time I was just basically in a dream state. You're half awake, and I go to Costco, this supermarket here, and I come back to my car and I find my door is wide open. And I had no recollection even walking out of the car. And it happened twice, but I could have cared less, my car was protected. Nobody stole anything. But just saying, no matter what, no matter how ridiculous it looks, no matter how much fear you see in everyone, no, I'm not going to give up. I cannot give up on me. And to your point, I need to see this through the end to really find out who I am, because there's a lot of, stuff coming out. So it was definitely something. And another question, I guess, for you. So, did you notice? I know that a lot of people asked me, what, you know, take pictures, show us the before and after. And we're cracking up earlier because my before and after was my after was probably worse because I realized I don't know nothing about dieting. And I was okay putting myself out there, as embarrassing or as in the moment of taking a picture, I'm convincing myself I look good, but the scale says otherwise. But physical challenges for you, what sort of transformations did you benefits or detractions, or what were some of the physical benefits you noticed?
Oh yes. No, it's again the 75-hour challenge came as a
Mm-hmm.
as a, as a it was an opportunity to put all the tools that I already had in place. So it wasn't physical of what I was in pursuit of when it came to the 75. Yes, okay, maybe I have that fantasy on being shredded, 1,000 abs, everything looking perfect. Yes, maybe in the back of my mind, I had that going.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not new to consistency. So my first thing that I hit consistently was actually when I was really young. I was I was dancing. I was a dancer right, in Rwanda.
Yeah, I remember you were a superstar, man.
Yeah, thank you. I was.
You are a superstar. My bad. You are a superstar.
Put me in the. Nah, bro. I'm current. I'm current.
Uh-huh.
So
Uh-huh.
that time, so being a dancer
Mm-hmm.
that time as I'm competing and I'm attempting to hold the title, there was a consistency of showing up for practice, and practice meant basically doing an hour run because dancing is similar to that, right? So if you're dancing and you're practicing certain moves or choreography, there's a consistency of making the same move and the body movement is through the roof. So what I was, so all that dancing continuously went on, and then now I transitioned into athleticism, but it's similar to some extent, right?
Mm-hmm.
To some extent, the consistency of moving my body wasn't new. So the pursuit of the 75, when I finished it, I didn't see much change on my body. I didn't see much change on my body, and I did not even, and it wasn't even the goal. To be honest, it has always been a pursuit of changing the thing that is inside. For me,
Mm-hmm.
the pursuit of doing any kind of exercise or any kind of uh, physically demanding activity, it's the attempt on changing my perspective on things and increasing my reaction time to situations unfolding in my life. Ultimately, that's why I go to,
Mm-hmm.
I get into like self-imposed activities, so self-imposed struggle, right? It's me being able to have, because it first starts with the mind, the convincing that you're gonna go work out, which is usually the hardest. It's really to
Mm-hmm.
convince yourself to take the next step, right?
Yeah.
And then once you have taken that step, put on your shoes or your gym clothes, you've already won the war, right? The
Yeah.
battle is won. Once you have done that, even if you go to the gym and sit and do that again tomorrow, you've already won. So
Yeah.
for me, the 75, when I pursued it, was the mental transformation that I would have, the how I would start, how I would begin looking at myself, my self
Mm.
image, not the abs, not the strong muscles or anything, but simply just how I perceive myself, regardless of how my weight looks in the mirror. And
Yeah.
in the middle of that, in the process of going through the 75, you get to fall in love with what your body can do.
Mm.
And once you arrive there,
Yeah.
it's no longer about how the body is going to look. You
Yeah.
start becoming more grateful about its ability to wake up that day and do whatever you throw at it, right? And that for me became the biggest motivation for me. And once I continuously showed up, I'm like, wow, you can do this thing. So I got into yoga as well. I wanted to really master the art of yoga, being able to go through an entire 90-minute class without quitting. Those were the things I wanted to put myself through, not because I want to see my body look a certain way, but because I want to feel a certain way. Because I know that yoga is not me doing the act, it's what I do after the act. Once I get up on the
Mm.
yoga mat, who am I? How do I show up
Yeah.
in my relationship? How do I show up to work? How do I show up to life? How do I show up in life? And that's what the 75 did for me. And it was unexpected. I didn't expect
Yeah.
it, right? But I
Yeah.
started being obsessed with what my body could do. And then it became weird where I started thanking the body.
Mm-hmm.
I started thinking the
Mm.
body, like when I go run and I come back, I'm like, thank you. Thank you for taking me through this. But then also in the midst of that, I injured myself. So that's another thing that the 75 will do. Any kind of thing that you're gonna do with with your body and you haven't done it before, is that you're gonna hurt yourself.
Of
I
course.
did hurt myself. I broke my fibula.
Damn. You already mentioned that.
Sucks. I was
You-
good thing it was a very bad strain. It wasn't a broken bone. It was a
Yeah.
strain that would take upwards of 7 months for it to heal. And
Yeah.
and it that also the hurting myself came before I started the 75. So
Mm.
there was also a combination of also appreciating how fast the body can heal, right? Like once I hurt myself, I thought my leg was gone. I, I thought I would never walk again. That's what the pain was. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm laughing. It's just
Yeah,
funny.
no, no, it is hilarious. Like
Mhm.
once you hurt yourself, you feel like there will never be a time where you normally walk again.
Yeah.
Then in the process of me hurting myself and then seeing my body go through the process of healing, and now I couldn't exercise like I was doing it. So I had to depend on yoga a lot. So I got so much in tune into really feeling my body. And then the transition of getting into the 75-hour challenge after that injury kind of enhanced the process of going through the challenge, right? It enhanced the whole thing. I was really
Well, hold up. So you're saying you, after you broke your leg, you recovered, you did the 70, you continued
so
75?
before I hurt myself. So when I hurt
Okay.
myself is before I hurt myself before I started the 75.
Okay.
So I went through phases.
Oh,
I
gotcha.
lost my father, and
Yeah.
got into exercise a lot. As a matter of fact,
Yeah.
the man passed that night. The next day, I went for a 10-mile run, right?
Yeah.
And then I went hard into it. And then down the line, we go through the process. We laid the man to rest. And then I continued into this working on myself. And in that process,
Yeah.
I hurt my leg. And
Oh,
once I hurt my leg, it was I still had the energy. So I looked for the closest thing that I could do that did not require me to move my leg. Yoga was the thing. So once I got into yoga for like 90 days. I was doing it regularly. And then in that process, I got to know myself.
mm.
And then the 75-hour challenge, when I decided to get into it, I was already in tune of, because once you go into yoga, which is another challenge, by the way, the yoga was also another challenge. So
Mhm.
I was actually in search of a challenge that could really enable me to reach acceptance. So I was
Mhm.
trying different stuff. So
Yeah.
yoga was that thing. So I had first done the running. I was attempting to run every day.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, that's what caused the injury. So once the
Yeah.
injury happened, I was like, okay, maybe I have to look for another challenge. And then there was the 90-day yoga challenge. It's brutal. It's not similar to
90 days. Wow.
it's
Okay,
90
that's
days
wild.
of extreme. So,
Wow.
and that I was failing it as well. I failed it multiple times. I woke up some days and I was like, I'm not gonna do this stuff because it really sucked. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that did not have the drinking, the diet. It didn't have all that stuff. And then I was doing mostly to heal my leg, which had just been broken. And then
Yeah.
challenge as well awakened something in me. And then the
Mm,
75 became something to just bring all that stuff together.
mm,
And then when I got into the 75, my perception or my understanding on the physiology, what I'm trying to change on my body, was no longer in the physical form. It was internal.
mm.
So the 75 was an opportunity to dive deeper into that internal, that uh, self-reflection. How do you see yourself?
Mm,
What are the first thoughts in your mind when you wake up? What are the
mm,
things that you're saying to yourself, even when you're silent? So the 75
mm.
enabled me to dive deeper into it, that it was no longer a pursuit of the abs. But
Yeah.
there was also when I was seeing the changes in the mirror, I could find myself celebrating, like, oh, yeah, I look good. I look good, I feel good. But then it was really the feeling good that made everything look good because, you
Absolutely.
know, I wasn't, there wasn't anything on my body that I was trying to get rid of. I was really simply trying to be a different person. I, I
Wow.
think I think the person who really said it the best was Matthew
Mm.
McConaughey.
Uh-huh.
His speech at the Oscars when he got the
Yeah.
Dallas, it's the chase of the hero. I was chasing that hero. I was
Yeah.
chasing the kind of person who wakes up and goes to run. I was chasing the kind of person who sees files and files piling, and I'm just like, I'm zoned in. I'm gonna get rid of this before I go home. I wanted to be a
Mm,
person, if I see the most chaotic situation happening around me, I'm able to stay calm and address it and respond accordingly. You know what I mean?
mm.
So that's what the 75 did. To a point, I wasn't really looking at my body that much. I was taking the pictures because you're required to,
Yeah.
and I did see some changes, but it wasn't my
Yeah.
focus. My focus was that voice. It was a voice I was trying to really confront.
Yes.
That voice enhanced as soon as my father left. So as soon as my father,
Mm.
it was that voice that I was trying to make sure that if it ever speaks again, it's going to speak positive things towards me. And that's what I was pursuing, you know,
Wow.
in hindsight.
Yeah, that's
In hindsight,
in
looking
hindsight.
back, yeah.
Yeah. No, that's powerful, man. That's powerful. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, you mentioned you broke your leg, and I felt so small. I'm out here talking about, yo, my knees swollen, you know. But for me, the physical transformation, to your point, this was never about a physical transformation. And it was a bit because I got to this level of obsession, you know. One of my heroes and your hero, I believe Kobe and David Goggins, when you get to that place of high performance and you're just, it's like, it feels like you're in a high, right? And you just stay there, right? So for me, it was a mental battle, right? How can I conquer this brain? How can I conquer my laziness? How can I conquer my procrastination? How can I conquer all this? But I kept getting messages from folks asking, "Oh, so what? How many pounds have you lost?" And to me, it was shocking, right? So I'm like, "Pounds? Where did you get that from?" Right? But of course, a normal person would think you're doing this to lose weight. I'm like, but I've always thought, myself as skinny. Yes, the older I get, I'm, skinny fat here and there, But so it always shocked me when people would ask me, "What were how much weight have you lost?" Post the pictures, do this, do that. But for me, to your point too, it was never about the physical transformation. And of course, we all have our goals. We all have our reasons to do this. Not saying that, everyone, you should do it for your mental, to strengthen yourself mentally. But for me, that was the pursuit to really see myself anew. And it's crazy because I remember, like, I'd wake up sometimes and I'm like, oh God, here we go again, and I'm like on day 20, whatever day it was. And it's like, I haven't slept well, I haven't done this. I have every reason and every excuse to not do this. And you're looking at the gallon of water. I think that's what, about 3 liters, 3 to 4 liters, I'm not sure. But saying, I don't care, I'm going to do it. And sometimes everything in me was saying, nah, man, we're not going to do this. We're not going to do this. But then you do one thing, then it propels you to do another thing. Then before you know it, you finish, your tasks for the day. Mm. So yeah, to your point, it was never about the physical. It was more about the mental. To your point, honestly, I think I even gained weight, because it's going to lead me to my next question. Yeah. Something that's really important to you. What was the diet that you were doing during this challenge?
Oh, I just stuck to what I was doing already. So I was doing intermittent fasting. That has been my go-to for the past like 3 years. Actually more than that. I've been just doing intermittent fasting. So I break my fast at around 2 p.m. So the 2 p.m. is when I break my fast, and then I keep feeding and then cut off again at around 7 or 8. Sometimes I'll go even late at night if the dinner is late, right? But that was my go-to. But other than that, I was eating well. My wife,
nice.
Amazing cook. She's everything that she prepares, everything she puts down, it's been healthy. It's still grounded. It's still, it's the food from home. You came home, you seen what kind of food we eat.
Yeah. Yes, like that.
Yeah, so
I endorse the cooking, absolutely.
So it's still African food. I'm still eating I still have my carbs, my rice in there. I wasn't extremely strict on the diet. I wasn't extremely strict on it because there wasn't anything I wanted to change per se. I have a sweet tooth, so I do eat a lot of candy, so that I had to cut out. No kinds of sugars. I really stayed away from sugars. I wasn't putting any creamer in my coffee. I was so what are the things I cut out? So chips. So I work corporate. The lunchroom is full of all kinds of snacks, and none of them are healthy. So really avoiding having to go to the lunchroom, although played a role into just maintaining my energy throughout, because I could easily reach for a chocolate bar. I could easily reach them. I love sweet stuff. That is my guilty pleasure. But it was never, my diet wasn't the thing. My diet wasn't the thing. It was the alcohol. The alcohol was the thing I needed to cut out. That was the full-on intention on what I needed to cut out, because I understood what it did to me. Still do. I still do. And it was really, that was the goal. That was the thing that I wanted to confront the most. Because my water intake was okay. I work out regularly. It was something I was doing already. But then there was that weekend, once it kicked in. Now, I wasn't the kind of person to wake up and drink. I never had it at home. But then when I went to these parties every weekend or anything like that, I noticed that it would affect me for an entire week.
Yeah.
For me to party for 3 hours. So I would be in a party, we are partying, we're having a good time. It's an amazing time with amazing people. But then I go back to my responsibilities and I'm playing catch up. So for
Yeah.
me, it was the focus on the alcohol. And then the fact that also I lost my father, I made it as an excuse to drink.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that makes sense.
alcohol had actually also become a regular thing. So I'm going to
Yeah.
sip a bottle here, sip a bottle here. And all of a sudden you realize the entire week you were drinking about 7 days a week, right?
Wow.
And
Yeah.
then even if it's a little bit here, a shot here, it's an invitation, it's a dinner, it's a glass of wine, you realize you've consumed a lot. So you
Yeah.
can picture what the week before. So once you get past 30, once you get past the age of 30, the hangovers are not the same.
Oh. Bro, tell me about
The
it.
hangovers are not the same. Now my hangovers were lasting upwards of 2 weeks for me to shit,
Oh, wow. Yeah.
right?
Yeah, you don't feel normal. Like it takes you
You don't.
a while to feel like yourself.
And once you get into the science and you see what it is about, yes, of course, you're going to get into a depressive mode. And then you're now looking for reasons to explain why you're feeling weird. And really, the thing that's making you feel weird is the behaviors that you were doing in the past 7 days.
Mm.
So for me, I went to war with the habit of not being able to say no.
Yeah.
So for me, that's what 75 was giving me. It was giving me the ability to say, yeah, I drink, but then I have these 75 days that I have to not drink.
Yeah.
Because I have to maintain all these things in my life. I want to have a good time with you guys. I want to, kick it. But
Yeah.
I need to also focus because I don't want to be here in the next 20 years. I mean, I want to be able to secure the future for my children. I'll be able to maintain a relationship that could last long. And all of these things require me to be sharp. It requires me to be sharp. And I felt like moments of just celebrating for 3 hours, 4 hours was not worth me losing 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It just did not make any sense. And once I became aware of that, it was, the 75 felt like the right thing to do. What diet did you go with?
Yeah. The reason I'm giggling, but yeah, to your point, I did the same thing too. I was doing intermittent fasting, which I learned a whole lot. Now, intermittent fasting, I've been doing intermittent fasting since probably 2016. I heard Joe Rogan talk about it, and I was like, oh, this makes sense. Let me do it. So that was the diet. But the issue and the biggest takeaway is because, as I mentioned, I think honestly, I don't recall very well, but I may have put on, 10 pounds over the course. Yeah, of course, I'm working out. Could it be muscle weight? I'm not sure, but I'm skeptical. But the thing I learned about intermittent fasting was I would eat just like you. I'd probably eat around 1 p.m. because I'm usually out by 5. I would eat around 1 p.m., sometimes 2 p.m., sometimes I would push it. But the level of carbs and the amount of food I would eat, because of course your body's exhausted, it needs that fuel and it's like, yo, feed me. So because I was doing intermittent fasting and I convinced myself this thing was easy, it was the diet to do. So, kill croissants, the croissants from Costco, things that are like this big, I would eat 2,
Yes.
I don't think you should eat 2, but I would eat 2. And, in terms of eating, like, let's say if I'm eating rice, in Rwanda, eating rice is kind of a very common thing. I would always have, the bigger portion was always rice, then meat, then vegetables. So realizing, when I finished the first phase, realizing I do not know anything about dieting. So I need to learn about dieting. So I found this doctor. He's one of the foremost people. I think he may be the guy who invented intermittent fasting. I don't remember if he's, I think he was. It's Chinese, Asian gentleman, I apologize. Based out of Canada. I think it was the dude who talked about intermittent fasting. But I landed on his podcast and I listened. And so he talked about insulin. you know, and how when you take carbs, how your insulin spikes. And when you take carbs, you're basically telling your body, the insulin spikes. It tells your body, oh, this food we need to reserve, you know, because our ancestors did not eat as much; they ate as they needed. But when I'm eating carbs, I'm basically stocking it up, you know, because my body throughout time knows that it should take a break. So the craziest thing is the second phase. After knowing that, I did a keto diet. I thought it was a keto diet, but I ended up finding out it's a high protein diet. So more on the high protein. Carbs was ridiculously low. I was keeping myself under 50 grams of carbs, which you gotta be ready, man. Like after the fifth day, my body crashed. You know, I had the keto flu, like tears. Man, I have a running stomach. I'm literally sick. I have no strength whatsoever. But it only lasts a day, and then your body adjusts. And I remember in a span of 30 days, I went from, I think it was probably maybe 186 pounds, dropped all the way to 174, you know? Yeah, in 75 days I gained. But I was like, okay, so I understood what eating healthy is. I understood how taking care of my body is. So it was a big takeaway to realize there's so many things I realized I did not know in this challenge. So about kind of spinning off that, what are some things that you realized that as well that you fell short of, or maybe you thought you knew that were big takeaways? Now, this could be open. It could be something mentally, it could be a mental exercise or something you took out of that you thought you had mastered, but then found out, man, I'm short on this.
Oh yes. I would say that the biggest thing was I didn't supplement well. So during the first 75, I got into it and I didn't understand protein intake, things, creatine. I didn't understand all these things that I needed in order for me to support this journey I was about to go on, right?
Yeah.
So that's one thing which ultimately led to a lot of injuries, a lot of things not going right. And then the other thing was, like I said, also being able to say no. I think that was another thing that was that I didn't know. So I always was the type of person who is going to attempt to turn the crowd towards me. Me having to have a background as a dancer is the performative nature about me. When I get in places, I want to have the most interesting conversation. I want to have all these things. And I had put all that power into alcohol. So being able to understand that I already had these qualities, that I just exercise them, was also a learning curve as well, to understand how much you depend on something that gives you a high for a moment. So there was that as well. And then rest. I didn't prioritize rest before. I didn't prioritize rest getting into it. So now I do prioritize it heavily. I'm going through the 75 now. We're at day 35, and I'm actually doing it with my wife as well. So it's now it has even enhanced it tremendously. It's actually working way better. We are moving at a pace that is ours, and we're taking our time with it as well, but also sticking to the fundamentals of it, of making sure you do what you say you're gonna do. So, so it's also prioritizing health, rest, supplementing in the right way. So protein, creatine. At least if I have those two things, if I was acting on those two things consistently, I would have even seen better results.
Of course.
In terms of what I wanted to see on my body, that afterthought that I had in the back of my mind, but also learning about the mental benefits of what creatine does to the brain as well. That would have tremendously helped me in maintaining that resilience, that willpower that makes you be able to say no when you gotta say no. That that creative enable, it actually offers you that, it offers that. I believe it's cellular energy to the brain, which
Yeah.
enables you to think sharply. Immense things, a lot of that I missed out on when it comes to supplementation,
Yeah.
rests, also structuring my workouts well. So you can do hard things every day, but they don't have to be the same. So that's
Yeah.
another thing. So if I have if now that I'm taking the 75 hard challenge, it's structured. So when I got into it the first time, it was I'm gonna run for 45 minutes in the morning, and then later on in the afternoon, I'm gonna do my workout in the gym for 45 minutes, right? So I would do run workout, right? And I never created any kind of like flexibility work, which that could be equally as difficult, by the way.
Yeah, it's a workout in itself.
Flexibility is gonna suck as well. I mean, it's
Absolutely.
flexibility work, just hanging on the bars, just how great it is for your spine, and all that stuff. So also structuring my days where I'm actually priming myself to be able to perform the next day at an optimal level, right? So if I plan to run tomorrow, maybe a little bit of strength work and flexibility would enable me to run. So I didn't plan strategically for my first 75, and it brought about a lot of soreness. And then also my electrolytes would be off the rails as well because I'm consuming a lot of water. So if you're taking a gallon of water, you have to be able to supplement with electrolytes because
good
flushing that out, you're gonna start feeling agitated. I mean, so that's another thing that I didn't know. So I thought I was agitated because I was doing the hard work, but really I was agitated because I was out of electrolytes. I mean, so. So supplementing on that and making sure that I'm well supplemented, I'm well rested. I think those are the things that I'm doing better now, and actually the challenge is enjoyable. It could really be enjoyable if you set it up the right way.
Wow.
What are the things that you feel like you learned in the process of
75? I guess the thing I realized I didn't know besides dieting, one is I realized I did not know how to work out. I realized that I was doing okay. You go to the gym. Hey, is this buff guy? He shows you a few things, a few curls here and there. Those complete chaos in my workouts. I would improvise. You can't improvise your way to the gym. I would improvise. I do chest. I'm like, wait, did I do chest yesterday? Sometimes I forget. Then I will mix it up with arms. Then maybe the elliptical. So there's a lot of stress and chaos, over there.
Yeah.
So that's one thing for sure I didn't know. But realizing I don't know that, I got membership. I've tried to get a trainer, but trainers were were expensive, and it just didn't seem beneficial, at least to what I was hoping to do.
Yeah.
I found this great app called Gymverse, which structures your workouts. You put in your goals, and to your point, the thing I learned, man, about working out, just get my clothes ready, buy clothes to work out, have a gym membership. I go to the gym. This thing tells me what to do. I don't have to think about it. So it removed a lot. It moved a lot of stress on that one.
Oh, absolutely. Technology do it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was wild. Yeah. And the thing I learned about myself on a mental level, I know we always talk about it, consistency, discipline, following through. But I had this moment where I started to see the gaps in my process. I started to see the moments where you wake up defeated for the day. You wake up like, oh man, I didn't sleep too good. Oh, today's gonna be a tough day. I may get a migraine. And then you find yourself dragging yourself through the day. And then it's like 7 p.m. You've just done the bare minimum. You've just gone through work. So I realized, how I start my day is the most important thing, you know? So having that routine that you can wake up that energizes you, something as simple as making your bed, something as simple as organizing your room, something as simple, on a spiritual level to, just meditation or something. But how you start your day determines, how you end the day. And it doesn't really matter how you feel. That's irrelevant. You feel good, you feel bad. You just have to be married to this routine. And then I realized as long as I do that thing, and trust that things are gonna work out no matter how bad I feel. Then you find yourself at the end of the day, you'd be like, oh man, that was an awesome day. So I got to see me. It's as though those two, the old me and the new me, and then I would leave the old me behind. And I'm like, whoa, you used to give up a lot. You used to take shortcuts on this. And to your point, also consistency, having that consistent discipline of saying, I'm going to wake up, do this thing, right? I'm going to structure my day. I'm going to have my goals through the day, no matter how bad I feel, even if it's two things that I get to do, right? Even if it's, let's all say, okay, I didn't sleep well. I'm just going to go for yoga, do a yoga session. I'm going to go for a walk. Or I'm going to do something as simple as reading. So I put those things. My mind then has something to look forward to. Then when I accomplish them, then I'm able to basically have a fulfilling day. So there's seeing yourself and seeing your shortcomings, and also realizing how supernatural our bodies are, man. It's like, sometimes you give up not knowing you can endure all of that, not knowing that your body, absolutely, you are a programmer to your mind. You program how you feel. You program how you go about your day, and just embracing it and knowing that no matter what, I'm gonna overcome. No matter what, this is gonna be a good day. No matter what, as bad as it may look, but having that thing, there. So yeah, so that's in a short assessment. Those are the things I can think of. I want to tap into your spiritual experience. What spiritual lessons did you learn about yourself? What Ganza did you uncover through this experience? Because for me, this thing was honestly a spiritual experience beyond. Because at the end of the day, you start to see that spiritual practice is the same thing as mental health. They're one and the same. But on the spiritual end, what were some things that you uncovered about yourself or lessons you picked up?
Absolutely. I mean, one of the greatest lessons, I think one of my greatest teachers, right? Like one of the greatest teachers kind of described it for me. The moment in front of you is not bothering you. You're bothering yourself about the moment in front of you, right?
Wow. I mean, please repeat that. That is so powerful. Repeat that.
His name is Michael Singer. He said...
Michael Singer. Oh, yeah. You introduced me to Michael Singer. I just got good goosebumps. Shout out to Michael Singer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's the moment in front of you is not bothering you. You're bothering yourself about the moment in front of you. And it really... Like you said, yes, spirituality is one that deals with the internal, The spirituality is what deals with the internal, and once you have that in place, I think you're able to open up to the opportunities that the world has there for you, what the universe actually has in store for you. So what the 75 did was, one, to make things uncomfortable. If you look at all the spiritual teachers from the beginning of time, from Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad, there is a period in time where they are supposed to completely go in isolation. They completely leave, right? We know of Jesus' story of traveling the world and learning of all these mysterious things and eventually coming back to teach the lesson to the people he found there. And we know of Buddha being born in a castle surrounded with everything, and him choosing to leave all that behind to go in pursuit of becoming the best version of himself, right?
Yeah.
And eventually coming back to teach people. And I feel like all these teachers left behind the lesson that to truly get to a place where you're going to understand yourself, you're required to go through the difficult processes, right?
Yeah.
So the 75 offered that. Comfortable. It was definitely something you don't want to do. As soon as you wake up in the morning, the last thing you want to do is have to go through the entire phase of things, right? And then once you start consuming the information as well, right? Because all these things you're internalizing. There is nothing outside that we do that is not internalized and changing neural circuits in your own head as you're actually doing that action. So if you pick up the book to read it, right? And in those 10 pages as you're reading, for me, it's meditation. It's you're zoned out. So you're forcing yourself to read these words on a page. And eventually you're taking in more information, depending on what kind of book you're reading, because what the 75 forces you to read is personal development books, and personal development goes hand in hand with spirituality, right? Unless you're reading a book about economics, but still you need to be at a spiritual place of understanding that also the money moves on energy, right?
Absolutely.
So everything is really everything that's within the 75 helps you confront all these barricades that you have built, all these walls that you have built, on what you cannot do, what is achievable or not, what you can take or you can't take. Me personally, it was, I had a tendency to feel like I needed to react to what was happening outside of me. Whether it's someone talking outside their neck or my supervisor feeling like I'm not getting the right assessment when it comes to my performance review, or my life feeling like my children are not going in the direction that they're going, right? All these things were things that I could look at and internalize it and look at it as I'm failing, reactive in nature. It has always been me. I react. Once something happened, I had the tendency to just react. So when Michael worded that, it kind of gave me the permission to understand that nothing out there demanded my reaction. No longer, regardless of what's happening.
Wow.
It's happening outside of you. It has nothing to do with you. Whether it's someone talking outside their neck, trying to get a reaction out of you, how you respond to that ultimately defines how you feel about yourself. If you react with anger towards something that is unfolding right before you, it's also a test on how much freedom you have, right? Because the universe is going to bring situations and people to reveal places where you're not personally free.
Yeah.
So if you're
not here.
free with if you're not free about failing, every performance review will feel like an attack.
Yeah.
Right? If you're not comfortable with the fact that you can grow, every person that comes with advice is going to feel like it's a personal attack. And once you become free of all that, which I feel like the 75 offered, one that became free of thinking that this world is supposed to serve me, things are supposed to go my way in order for me to feel good, I realized I'm supposed to feel good. I'm supposed to be loved. right?
Mm.
We can only fall out of love, right?
Mm.
Fall out of love. We fall from the garden, right? Like Adam
Yeah.
and Eve. We fall from the garden on a consistent basis, right? Whether it's something that we're getting, someone, you go somewhere, you say hi to a friend and they don't say hi back. What is the dialogue within? What are you thinking? They probably had their headphones on. They probably were, they didn't probably hear you. They didn't
Yeah.
hear anything, right? But internally, you who said hi, what are the conversation? I could tell you the conversation that was going on inside me. Oh, that's a hater. Oh, this is, he must think I'm not this. And and once you're doing the 75 consistently, showing up every day, all of a sudden the world starts to lose a grip of you.
Yeah.
You kind of start creating, especially when you get to phase 3, because the visualization kind of gives you a structure. Now all these things that you've been building in the past 2 phases of the 75, the phase 3 comes in with visualization, with a little bit more calm, but also you're doing the challenge, the cold showers. All these things force you to reflect, right? They force you to now come back to a place of, are you comfortable with yourself? Are you comfortable with the strides that you're taking in life? Yes, you probably have these aspirations, these things that you want to achieve, but can you also be comfortable with the now? Can you be comfortable with the fact that you have a roof over your head, a healthy family? Can you be comfortable with that? And then can we change the dialogue, right? Because you can't visualize if you're constantly playing negative tunes in your mind.
Yeah.
Visualization forces you to basically now create a better script. And then that's what I feel the 75 on a spiritual path did for me, is that
Wow.
it revealed that I have this internal person that was my ego,
Yeah.
that has been created with these stories, these traditions, these things that were imposed on me that I did not subscribe to.
Yeah.
My entire life has been has constructed this ego. So this ego tolerates certain things. It doesn't tolerate others. Other things makes me feel up there, and other things make me feel down there. And to be able to be at a place of nothing has the permission to either take me up there or down there, that's what the 75 gave me. I feel
Wow.
good. Whether it's a Sunday and tomorrow is gonna be Monday, I'm ready for that, because
Yeah.
I already did the work on Sunday. So there is no Sunday, there is no Monday. I'm persistently going. You feel me?
Yeah. It doesn't matter. Every day is the same.
It pulls you out of the bullshit, because
Yeah.
falling from the garden, if we look at the definition of what falling from the garden was in biblical sense, it was Adam and Eve being self-conscious, right? We are naked. Soon as God came in, they're hiding. We are naked. How do we fall from the garden? That person did not say hi to me. The dialogue, it plays. And that dialogue, guess what it inspires? You'll have to work. To get anything, you'll have to work by the sweat of your brow, or something along those lines.
Yeah.
You want to get along. So soon as that person did not say hi to you, you went to your table, you went to the next function, and that attitude is going to spill over all those things. You probably come home because that person did not say hi to you at 8 a.m. You come back home at 8 p.m. You're still wound up about Cynthia not saying hi to you. And now you're going to apply that to everyone inside the home to feel some type of way.
Yeah.
Because you have no ability to just let things go. And I feel like that's what the 75 did, at a spiritual place where It's acceptance. If things
Wow.
are happening, if this person is treating me like this, that's it. What I can
Yeah.
control is my reaction to the situation. It's not always easy. I don't
Yeah.
going through the challenge completely like changed all that in the blink of an eye. I think, as a matter of fact, everything I learned from the 75, my first try of it, I'm probably learning more now. As I'm talking to
Mm.
you, I'm learning of the effects it had on me, or how it made me feel, or the contributions that it brought to me. In hindsight, if you look at what it does to you, is the consistency of doing what is beneficial to you makes you more in tune with yourself, and ultimately it makes it extremely difficult for you to fall from the garden. You could still be self-conscious about yourself. You're gonna get pissed. You're gonna feel sad. Some things are not gonna go your way. But then once you create a buffer between your reaction and the situation that happened, 9 out of 10, you're gonna find a better solution to that problem.
Yeah.
I feel that's what it gave me spiritually. It gave me a sense of feeling. I worked on myself. I did something
Yeah.
proud of. I was outside. And also the sun.
Yeah.
The sun. It's a big thing. If we are talking about
Mhm.
spiritual, we're going to talk about the source, right? Source of light. There is nothing more powerful than the sun. There is emerging
Mm-hmm.
studies that are now coming out that are
Mm-hmm.
on what the benefits of the sun are to our health, right?
Oh,
Like,
gotcha.
just as of recent, being outdoor more frequently, I wouldn't be surprised that you're going to be a little bit more spiritual to some extent. 45 minutes outside in the sun, breathing air, the quality of air that you're going to breathe is going to be way different from the air that you're going to breathe either in the gym or at home. The quality of air outside, the what the sun does to your how do you call it, your, not only your circadian rhythm, but there's this other part in your brain that influences just your vitality. You know what I mean? So also spending time outside, which was not something I was doing often, you know, that also awakened a lot of insights. Now I'm the type of person, my lunch breaks are spent outside. I'm not outside for the vitamin D only, but also the other, the how do you call it? It's the red light, right? The red light that you
Oh,
get from the
mhm.
sun. It
Yeah.
penetrates into the skin way deeper than anything else, right?
Yeah.
That influences it just erases everything. There was this study. No, there was
Mm.
who had cancer. He had cancer, and he was at the last days of his life, a week. And his last wish
Mm.
was to be able to see the sun.
Wow.
So as the doctors are putting everything together, the team that helps him breathe, because it was lung cancer, right?
Oh.
So one of the lungs, they had taken it out. Now there was one that was left, and that was also
Mm-hmm.
being damaged.
Yeah.
And he had a little, can survive after that. So he had a little bit of time. So there's
Mm.
planning times when he could go outside.
Yeah.
They could take him outside. He could see things. And then eventually what happened was that he started getting better. He started getting better every day, and
Mm.
it led to his entire condition being healed.
Mm.
Right?
Gotcha, man. Your camera looks off. Okay, you're back
I
on.
think it's, yeah, one of the cameras went off.
Okay.
Yeah. So what he did was, so
Mhm.
they started taking him out with the team, everybody was just coming together to ensure that they can give him his last wishes. So his wish was to be able to go outside. And surprisingly, he healed, man.
Oh, wow. Really, I was expecting a sadder end.
Complete remission. And this is a story that I just recently saw. And this was one of the doctors that was working on the kid. And
Yeah.
from that point on, they started studying on the effects on what the sun can do, right?
Yeah.
So that 45 minutes that you have to spend outdoors in the sun has tremendous things that it can do for you that could eventually lead to you being more spiritual to some extent. You know, it's the greatest connection that we have. The sun, what it does to the plants, it's well known. Everybody knows about that. But then what it does to us is even way more. And I'm beating around the bushes with the studies that have been done, but yes, that 45 minutes that you're required to spend outside walking and all that good stuff is that do benefit you.